is going to be something that I'm talking about a lot.
Ignorance is a choice.
We become these pseudo-advocates.
Life has been divided into two stages.
There really is a ton of people around me, I just don't know it.
Thank you everyone for coming to this roundtable discussion. I'm really excited to chat with all of you. The first question I kind of want to just get right into it is, do you identify as HIV positive? And I ask this because there are some people who may feel more connection to the community and identity, whereas some people it might just be a medical condition. That's just the way they look at it.
Definitely, I am a trans person living with HIV.
I identify with it being HIV positive. And for me, yes, it is more of a medical condition, I guess.
For me, it's a lot more than just a medical condition because having HIV kind of affects all aspects of my social life.
I definitely identify as positive as well, and I would definitely say it. Besides like managing your health, you end up like managing a more holistic sense of your health.
I do identify as HIV positive.
I also want to know, how has your perception of HIV changed over time, especially after your diagnosis?
It's really interesting to see over the years how much it has been evolved in the medical field, where you can live with HIV as just a condition, but the stigma related to it hasn't changed that much.
I mean, the stigma, as you said, it's institutionalized. The stigma is already there. The social climate surrounding it is already there. So it takes a lot more than just like a quick change, and not even a real change in legislation to actually like alter perception about that.
It really surprised me that so many people in the community aren't educated on it.
I try to allow people the space to ask questions, both of myself and within each other. I didn't want it to be something that people were afraid to talk about or needed to talk about in sort of a hushed way. And I think for me, it was also just like letting everybody know that this is going to be something that I'm talking about a lot. A very natural part of testing positive is having the time to grieve and having the time to sort of mourn the life that you maybe lived before. Part of you thinks that it's going to be really hard to return to that life, and I mean in some ways you're letting some things go, but you're also moving forward with a lot of who you already were. I have a lot of skirts. I feel like I'd prefer to wear a skirt to shorts. Even things like vintage shopping kind of just being like those everyday acts that you return to, and you start to go through all the motions that you've gone through before. And then realizing that as much as it has the potential to be this catastrophic diagnosis, it really doesn't impact the day-to-day. I remember the first moment that I experienced that sort of sense of like, okay, I'm back to myself. I was doing the dishes and I just started singing to myself a little bit, and that was something that I wasn't really doing before. I don't know, so for some reason I feel like singing you just only do when you're in a really good mood or when you're in a good place. One of the other things that I think comes along with the diagnosis is when you're making that shift from who you were to who you are, you tend to let go of a lot of the things that didn't really feel as important. And for me, I kind of got into playing with gender a little bit more. Now I sort of already recognize that I have this like strike against me in terms of my desirability because of being HIV positive. So the other things that I could explore that would maybe add to that, like gender nonconformity, became a little bit more attainable, a little bit more reachable. And it wasn't really until sometime after my diagnosis that I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try wearing a skirt this summer, and sort of playing with that and exploring those things and realizing that whatever was kind of keeping me from that before was gone.
What are some misconceptions about being HIV positive that you just absolutely hate hearing from people?
You give anybody you have sex with AIDS.
Full-blown AIDS.
It's like people like skip HIV. They're just like, you'll get AIDS.
Well,
Like,
I think that's the overarching issue, where I don't think people even realize the difference between what HIV is and what AIDS is.
You have to become an educator. You have to be able to teach people about HIV, and not all the time they're going to be open about it.
And it becomes very frustrating too, because we almost are presented as being bitter because this person won't have sex with us. And all we're trying to do is just like convince them to have sex with us. When the conversation is so much bigger than that, but in the moment, and when you try to like talk about that with other people, becomes very difficult.
Even folks who are, I've met who are not even part of the gay community, like they say things like, I'm clean because I don't have HIV. It's like, that is a little bit annoying hearing that.
The connotation of being
Yeah.
HIV positive makes you a dirty person.
Exactly.
Or you're involved with negative or what
Yeah.
is deemed as inappropriate
Exactly.
lewd actions.
There will be the other people too that will just see you as a sex object, not as a potential partner. So they'll sleep with you because they know they can sleep with you, but then they don't see you as a potential partner because you're HIV positive.
At the core of it is education. So how do you see this current state of sex education and HIV?
It's not going to go anywhere if we don't continue to educate people ourselves.
And I think that everyone just really focuses on the negatives and the massive, detrimental, horrific things that can happen or have happened, and the things that are obviously positive or on a brighter sense are never highlighted, or you never see them.
Now that we're in a different era, when in the age of information, ignorance is a choice.
I think I told myself because I'm educated on it, it wasn't an issue, and I literally swept it under the rug, moved on with my life, went back to work the next day, went like nothing was wrong, was just on medication. It's very grounding, and getting a little like, ugh.
But you're not alone.
No,
When I got diagnosed, the first thing I said, I'm gonna party, I'm gonna die happy, I'm gonna party it off. And it took a long time, and then going to bed at the end of the day, because without community, really, you go to bed alone on a Sunday night after the after hours and everything is coming down, and you break down in tears, feeling like you're fake or that you're not being yourself, because it's part of who you are. And it's devastating to be able to feel alone.
I almost feel like I felt like when I got diagnosed that like the person I was before completely died, and it was almost like I had to grieve that and become like a completely different person. Because to this day, like I feel like my life has been divided into two stages: my life before I was positive, and then my life now.
When I first got diagnosed with HIV, I felt my life was over, and I felt suicidal. I felt like life was a tragedy. Eventually, I decided that I didn't want that for myself anymore. I started working with Asian community aid services, and that really helped me to find a voice. I was working to educate other people about HIV, and it just really helped me having a sense of community as well as having the same cultural experiences as an Asian person. After a certain amount of time, I felt like life could go on, and I felt like I could make a meaningful contribution to the community and make a new life for myself.
Okay, hold it very close to you.
In my professional life, I'm also a photographer. I've helped to put together a portrait book of many of the staff and volunteers of ACAS.
Thank you, Naomi Campbell, and Linda Evangelista, and Cindy Crawford.
Yes.
I was really becoming a more powerful person in the face of my diagnosis and living with HIV. People living with HIV and their allies, it's a community that's thriving and can be victorious.
Is there ever a scenario or a reason where you wouldn't come out as positive to someone?
I think family is possibly the biggest obstacle, mountain that I have started to kind of traverse and go through?
My family is, I haven't told them, I mean, they're gonna know after this, but basically with them, they live across the country. It just seems like there's no opportune time to bring it up because it would have to be over the phone. And then I would have to start spewing out a lot of facts over the tears that are inevitably gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I will get there eventually.
My mom is back in Honduras, so it was like, why am I gonna tell her now what she doesn't need to know? But at the end of the day, your family is your family. If you can't even tell your family who you are, and they can't really accept you, if there is some sort of conditional love, you need to find out.
How has your gender identity and HIV positive status affected your employment?
I went off work twice because of harassment issues for being trans, and I could not even imagine to think that what if they knew that I was HIV positive?
I'm out to the people who need to know at work. They've all been very supportive, you know, because I do go to the doctor quite often. I get checked up, and I obviously do that during work hours. And, you know, there was a point where people asked, why do you go to the doctor so often? And I sort of just then and there was like, you know what? This is why. Being positive really had an effect on my mental health and my awareness of my body. For me, taking control of my health was everything from cutting back on partying to making sure I got 8 hours of sleep a night to doing regular therapy. What I put in my body in terms of food needed to change. I needed to be more aware of my health, and all the years that I took it for granted needed to be reversed. After my diagnosis, I was in a bit of shock for a few days. I decided to get out of my funk and go and take a dance class.
So we do 5, 6, 7, 8 left.
I was able to channel all the hurt and all the frustration through an artistic expression that took my mind off things. I'm concentrating on choreography and executing the moves through memory, which forces you to take your mind off all the hurt and all the fear that you're feeling. It was one of the most cathartic things I could have done. It's been a very interesting journey because I'm able to now take my life experiences and channel it into different projects. Theater-based, dance-based, photography-based, it all comes from the same place, which is the hurt and the pain, but it motivates me to be better. It motivates me to create something that is social, that creates change, that is able to start conversations.
What's U equals U, and why is it important to know?
So U equals U stands for undetectable equals untransmittable. It means that when a person who is HIV positive is on medication, that the HIV virus is undetectable on a blood test and that you are unable to transmit it to other people. This was a campaign that was started in 2014 that has now since been accepted by the Center for Disease Control in America, that's the official stance of the government of Canada. When it comes to like addressing HIV, that we understand that like if you are undetectable, you cannot transmit it to other people. It's now at the fore of a lot of awareness campaigns. It pops up on Grindr. It makes its way into a lot of sexual health campaigns as well. And it's sort of where we're moving forward from when it comes to HIV advocacy and awareness.
We've been talking a lot about your community and resources within it, but now let's talk about allyship. So what does being a good ally mean to you, and is there any person in your life that you kind of define as your go-to ally?
Allies are people who will go to bat for you. They will love you, they'll listen to you, they'll fight for you, and for me, that is my friends who I consider my family here.
I think a good ally is somebody who is not judgmental, who is compassionate, who is willing to listen, who also knows that they are also vulnerable. It can be a corporation, it can be an agency, our allies, people that do work and also create inclusive spaces, safe spaces to end the segregation. I think that's a good ally for me.
You may not understand what exactly we're all going through, but just taking that moment, just be in that person's shoes.
But also, they can educate themselves instead of making us educate them all the time.
That's true. Yeah. Potatoes, you're going in. Daniel has definitely been a steadfast support system for me, not just in terms of him being my partner, but I think also through a variety of, whether it's financially, emotionally, mentally. The fact that I'm in the kitchen.
Right, so I love it.
Celebrate me in the kitchen. Thanks. Talking about my day, me being able to discuss how I'm feeling, what really weighs on my head, and all the things that make for a strong relationship, I definitely have with Daniel. Being married to someone who is HIV negative does come with its challenges. Despite knowing a lot of the facts, there's still always that bit of a fear and dread of maybe putting him in some sort of a risk. I know it's not really plausible at all, but me also not maybe being present for him in the future in the long run, because I do have that autoimmune situation where something could affect me in ways that won't have me always with him. So there's always that nagging fear of that in the background.
Why is it important for people to understand history when we're talking about HIV and AIDS?
Well, we could talk about the legal infrastructure, which has changed significantly, and I mean the fact that there is representation in legislation for people who are living with HIV. Like, we can no longer be fired for being HIV positive, but that wasn't an accident. It certainly wasn't like a natural progression, just thanks to like the natural progression of like social consciousness. It was through a lot of work. It was through a lot of resilience, like you had mentioned, of our elders, and campaigns that were very endless, a lot of die-ins, a lot of very public displays of the grief and trauma that was previously trying to be very privatized. And it was because of that work that is still ongoing from our elders that we are able to even have these conversations, to even be able to speak about this so publicly.
I have the privilege and honor to know people who have lived with HIV for 30, 40 years. And the stories that they tell about what they went through make me feel very privileged, and make me feel that what I'm going through is absolutely nothing compared to what they did. Growing up trans in Honduras was a very difficult thing. I was always laughed at, I was always ridiculed and made fun of. It was only when I was by myself, with music, dancing, and being feminine. I used to put a towel on my head to make it look like I had long hair, just did beautiful poses and felt so comfortable. But it was hard every time that I left the door. Oh, we're running it? Okay, you have to start over. Every time I always felt sad, I sang and danced. Singing was crucial for my survival because it allowed me to express myself. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's a very therapeutic thing for me to do because I'm able to pass on a message, be heard, and try to inspire others to accept people that are different. For many years, I actually believed I wasn't good enough. I was told that I did not belong in this world, that I was an outcast, and I stigmatized myself, believing other people's thoughts. But since I found a community, I have started believing in myself again. And I know that I can do things for myself and for others to be able to inspire and celebrate life. Is who I am.
It's weird to think about what my life was before this, and I feel like now I've been given a second chance to kind of live the life I want to, and take the bullshit out and just kind of do me.
I'm very grateful for the life I'm living. I appreciate everything, and whether it's that plant on the table or the air I'm breathing, that moving forward will kind of just guide me, and I think everyone else, really.
The reason I've been able to thrive is because I think I've worked really hard to resist the social oppression I've experienced. The idea is that because I'm HIV positive, my life is a tragedy.
For me, it was getting educated and getting involved. I think those were the two things that really helped me come to terms with things. I felt like I went through the whole process of grieving and coming to a great place with it very quickly because of that.
If you take this experience and make it something beautiful as of a life-changing event where you need to take charge of your health, your sexual health, your relationships, you're gonna come out stronger and you're going to help end the stigma